Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! So, when I was in 3rd grade, I had this really cool Mega Charizard. The entitled kid of the story thought it was cool and I let him see it but not touch it, since I knew he would try and take it. This took place on the school bus. My friend, we will call him Anthony for the story purposes, and I had known each other for when I was in pre-kindergarten. We both knew the entitled kid and beat him in Pokemon battles all the time. Anthony and I would battle and it was never known who would win. I had Mega Blastoise and he had Mega Venusaur. My little brother was there too. I had been helping him since he was in 1st grade. He had pretty good cards too. And I had my cards safe in my pocket. I had my really good cards in my other pockets where nobody would see them. The entitled kid was eavesdropping while I was talking to Anthony, and I knew he was because I was whispering and heard where my Charizard was. While I was helping my little bro, the entitled kid snatched Charizard. I was older and stronger than him, and he knew it too. But if I threatened him, he would tell the bus driver, "He's trying to steal my card." I told Anthony about it, and although we were in the same grade, he was a lot stronger than me, despite us being similar in body shape. Anthony hopped to the entitled kid seat when the bus driver wasn't looking. Anthony told the entitled kid, "Give me my friend's Charizard." And the kid said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Anthony knew what happened and he wasn't the guy to talk things out. Anthony punches him until he gives the card back. It was like 2 punches. Now that I think about it, yes, punching someone isn't the best solution to get something back. But oh well, we were still young and childish, and he was also the one who started all this mess, and didn't agree to give us the stuff when we were still nice about it. I got to see this one a few days ago at a motel I spent a couple days at, while my truck got fixed while on a road trip. It was a little place in a small town, part of a budget chain. The room was cheap, clean, and several restaurants were within walking distance. The staff was all locals and it had a small staff. A couple desk clerks, a handful of young housekeepers, and 2 guys who did maintenance and grounds work, keeping the place up. I've worked all of my life, so I got out of my way to be nice to other working folks. My housekeeper/maid was a pretty young thing in her early 20s, and I will call her Jenny. She was a sweet kid who did her job and impressed me by how efficiently she did her job, and was very nice when I asked about extra towels. The problem came in the form of a group of young women who were flight attendant trainees. There was a company down the road that ordered a block of rooms for these young women who were training to be flight attendants. I think the training school was a scam. I've never heard of an airline who didn't interview and hire their own flight attendants. This was a small motel in a smaller town, but I got to know and dislike these young women quickly, as did the rest of the motel staff and several nearby businesses. These young women came in with an attitude that amazed me. They were loud, rude, and nasty to everyone from the front desk to housekeeping to other guests. They complained about everything from the lack of a bar to the number of TV channels. Anyone who so much as looked in their direction was hitting on them. But the point of this tale is when the flight attendant trainee in the room next to mine started raising hell about the room being filthy. I was outside my room on the landing overlooking the parking lot when the door flies open and the girl storms out. I turned around when the door banged against the wall and could see that the room was trashed. The housekeeper was making her way towards our room with her cart to vacuum. This trainee is wearing designer jeans and a tank top and starts screaming at the housekeeper that she better get in her room and clean it properly or else. She goes on to scream that there have been soda bottles and fast food trash in the room for a week. The housekeepers in this place wear jeans and tanks in the summer and have a light smock with a motel's name, their name and housekeeping on it. The entitled trainee almost exploded when the housekeeper got there with her cart, looked into the room and politely informed the girl that the hotel's policy was that housekeeping was not allowed to remove anything from a guest's room that was not in a trash can. She told her that they are not allowed to assume that anything in a room was trash. I thought the trainee was going to explode. She instantly started with the, "When I get done with your manager, you'll be looking for a new job, you lazy witch." She stormed off to the office and came back even madder after I assumed being told that the policy was exactly what the housekeeper has told her. But when the trainee came back, she was determined to have a confrontation. By this time, Jenny was vacuuming my carpet and had already emptied my trash can. I stood outside while she worked, and this was a safety policy to protect the maids from male guests who might have good intentions. The housekeeper made up that bed and cleaned the bathroom, and I was told it was done. I thanked her and started to step inside my room when Jenny went next door to do the trainee's room. The minute she stepped inside the room, I heard the sound of glass breaking, and I backed out the door to see what was happening. The trainee was standing in the middle of the room, picking up glass soda bottles from the furniture and dropping them on the floor to break against the ones she already had dropped, while demanding that Jenny get down on her hands and knees and clean up the broken glass. When the pretty blonde smiled and told her that she wasn't allowed to touch anything that wasn't in the trash basket, the trainee lost her mind and stormed towards the housekeeper and threw a punch. Jenny was shocked, but fortunately, she was agile and ducked under the second attempted punch, and the entitled trainee slammed her fist into a steel motel room door and managed to hurt her wrist and hand. The trainee went to the office screaming that the housekeeper had assaulted her, and returned with the manager, who was also the owner, and demanded Jenny to be fired. The manager asked what happened, and the trainee screamed that she'd been assaulted. Jenny told her side, and I introduced myself and told the manager that I was standing on the deck outside the rooms and saw what happened when I heard glass breaking. I explained that the girl punched Jenny and hurt herself by throwing a second punch. That was all it took. He immediately asked for the police to be called. The girl was furious and went on about suing them and the chain they were part of. When I checked out later that day, I'd left Jenny and I step in my room and asked the manager what happened to the flight attendant trainee. It seems she sprained her wrist and broke 2 bones in her hand. She told the police her side of the story, and they told her that punching a steel door is not the motel's fault and that she already was the one who actually punched the staff. They ended up pressing charges against her for assault. The manager also found out that the flight attendant training school was shut down for not having the proper certifications to offer job training in that state. I can't figure out why people can't treat others with respect instead of threats and demands. This happened a decade ago. Warning: racism and violence follows. I went to a New Year's Eve house party in 2009. I drank a ton throughout the night, as did the rest of the party. Come New Year's Day at 2 a.m., I was halfway passed out on a sofa in the living room, and the house was just littered with a bunch of passed out junior college students. There was a black guy passed out on a lazy boy across the room from me, in the direction where I was facing. The party was over at this point, but 2 skinheads showed up and walked in like they owned the place. They started being loud and obnoxious and generally annoying. When they came into the living room, they saw the black guy passed out on a lazy boy, and they freaked out. "What the heck? Freaking N-word," one of them said. They immediately ran over to him and started to shout in his face. They shouted a bunch of racist expletives and threats. One of the guys pulled back his fist like he was going to punch the passed out black guy in the face, and the black guy was stone cold passed out while all this was happening, and not responding to them at all. The skinhead with his fist pulled back shouted, "Screw you! Screw you!" to him, and threw a fake half punch. "What? What the heck, you jerk?" He continued shouting with his fist pulled back. Then he threw a real punch at him and clocked the passed out guy right in the face. Like a freaking cat on a springboard, the black guy leapt out of his lazy boy, seemingly unfazed by the punch. I don't understand how he jumped up from a reclining position, but it was like the Matrix. And in an instant, he was flying above the skinhead, about to crash down on him. I have a vivid image in my head of the dude frozen above the skinhead, like something out of an anime. And then boom, the black guy lands on top of the skinhead, toppling him over, and pins him to the ground in one swift, elegant motion. Then he began punching him in the face, and probably punched him 10 times until he was bleeding. The other skinhead cowered away and didn't get involved. I watched it all from the comfort of the sofa, like it was Netflix. Only me and my other friend in the room saw it happen. The skinhead regrouped and shouting expletives at him, and they left the party. The black guy was back asleep on his lazy boy before they even left the party. The whole fight lasted about a minute. It was awesome, and I went to sleep with a smile on my face, happy for the guy. I'm a 14-year-old male, and I was at Sky Zone with some friends, and for those who don't know, Sky Zone is a trampoline park. So I say it's time we meet the cast, shall we? Entitled parent, nice husband, nice kid, awesome Sky Zone employee, and me. The story. So I was just at Sky Zone with some friends, and for those of you who don't know, Sky Zone is a trampoline park, and it also has a foam pit you can jump off trampolines into, and also obstacle courses you can use. There was an obstacle course that was closed for reasons unknown, and I noticed a little kid and their parents doing it. One more detail to know is that there is foam separating each obstacle course, but you're not supposed to stand or walk on it. And when you're done, you come out on the other side of the courses and have to walk back around and get in line to do the course again. So now, to the actual story. I went to get in line for a course and notices that there was a kid doing it, along with a nice husband of the story on the foam on one side of the course, and the entitled parent on the other side of the course. The nice kid did the course, and then the nice husband, entitled parents, and the nice kid all walked on the foam back over, cutting in front of me. I brushed it off thinking that I would get to go next time, and thought that was that. They did the same thing again, so I left and went to free jump. It's just a bunch of trampoline square things to jump in, do tricks on, and thought I would just wait. Flash forward about 10 minutes, and I come back. I see them doing it again. And the Sky Zone employee came over, saying that they can't be standing on the foam, and how the nice kid has to walk around so that everyone else can use a course. I thought to myself, yes, they are finally leaving. And go over, then I hear the following text exchange. The nice husband says, "Oh, sorry about that." The employee tells him, "No problem, just wanted to make sure you knew." But the entitled parent says, "No. We got here to the course first, so we will leave when we're done." No, you won't. You will either have your child wait between uses, or you will take your child and leave. You think you can tell me what to do? I will leave when I'm ready to leave. Either you follow the rules, or you leave now, and take your husband and child with you. The entitled mother screaming so loud that you can hear from anywhere in the building. "Help! Help! This employee assaulted me!" And the manager comes over. "Hello, I'm the manager. What seems to be the problem?" "Your employee assaulted me." "Really? Is this true?" He asks the employee. "What? No. She's lying. Go look at the footage." "Okay, I'm gonna look at the footage. I will be back in 10 minutes. Keep in mind that I am listening from about 20 feet away. I see the nice husband and nice kid sit down close on a bench. And then the entitled mother does as well, so I go for the obstacle course. And the entitled mother saw me coming. She rushes to the course entrance. I don't know where the employee went. "What are you doing, kid?" I answer, "I was just gonna use the course once. I haven't been able to since it closed, so I was going to see how good I am at it." "Don't touch that X course." "But why? You're not using it right now." The employee saw us and started to come back over. I tried to go past to get to the course, and the entitled parent proceeds to push me back and punch me in the face super hard. Twice. It was so bad it gave me a black eye and a bloody nose. The employee tells the entitled parent, if I tell my manager to watch what just happened, then I can definitely have you removed from this building. The employee says to me, you can go to the fuel zone and get a tissue and ice pack. I missed what happened after that since I went to get a tissue and an ice pack, and I couldn't hear what was happening at the courses, but I saw the manager rushing over to the employee. Couldn't hear what was said, but I saw the employee point to me, and then the manager starts to rush to me. He comes to me. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, nothing too bad. Alright, I recommend avoiding this woman for now. Okay, thanks. I proceed to head back up to the course area and stood about 20 to 30 feet away, making sure I could hear but was out of punching area. The manager tells her, ma'am, after reviewing the footage, I'm removing you from the building. You are being asked politely to leave, but if you refuse, I will be calling the police on you. You are being banned from the sky zone. No, you can't do that. Refusal to leave will lead to me calling the police to have you removed. However, there is no reason for this to affect your husband and kid. So while they can stay, you cannot. This isn't fair. And then she stormed out the building. The aftermath. Me and my friends left a little bit after they saw what happened. We went to my house after they got the switches and we played some Fortnite. But before we left, I did the obstacle course. It was possibly the best course I've ever done. Update. Apparently the entitled parent just stood in a parking lot, and the cops were called for assault and trespassing. She ended up getting arrested. Well, rightfully deserved. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.